Hello and welcome to the channel. You're probably wondering, why are you in the dark? Is it ambiance? Because you're doing a review on Shaun of the Dead after doing a rant on Brie Larson, which puts you in a dark place? No, because I'm still trying to figure out, yeah, I'm at my house. I'm trying to figure out lighting. So, uh, yeah, we'll just say I'm going for ambiance for the review. Honestly, it's because I don't have a major studio. Yes, I am doing a review. I actually am. Which, by the way, how does my mic sound? All right. Well, I'm going to take it as my mic sounds pretty decent. So, I am actually doing a review, and I'm doing a review on, thank you. I'm doing a review on Shaun of the Dead. And this inadvertently has created a good tone for that film. So, I'm going to do my normal breakdowns because this is a review on how I'm going to frame this out for you. It's going to be about what the overall view of the movie is, my pros and my cons, and then I'm going to tell you whether or not this is worth seeing. Of course, I'm going under the assumption that most people have seen this film. However, something I'm going to do that's a little bit different. Like most reviews of a newer movie, I'm actually going to give you some history behind the film so that you know how it came about and how it connects to a larger universe. Because believe it or not, this does connect to a larger universe. And I have been using my phone, which I keep to the side because, as you can see by this dark setting in my house, lighting is going to be an issue when shooting at night, at least until I figure out how to do this better. So I like this format, though, because my mic is able to pick up a little bit better on my laptop than my phone. So there's less breakup in when I'm speaking about stuff. So I do like that aspect of doing this. Now, if only I could get, like, maybe someone behind me with a lamp watching this, that'd be great. But anyways, so Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead is a little thriller that came out. And just some brief history, because I want to make sure that I got the dates and stuff right. So 2004. And Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are in it. And if you don't know who they are, they're British actors. Simon Pegg is in the Mission Impossible series, the newer ones, Fallout and Rogue Nation, and the other one before that. And Nick Frost is a funny comedian who has been in various other films. I can't think of any off the top of my head because he's one of those people who makes very small cameos in films. But yeah, him and Peg though are both known for this trilogy, and I'm reading it now because this is it's the Three Flavors Cornetta trilogy, which is a really weird name for a trilogy, which is why I had to actually bring it up on my phone so that I could remember what it was, because it's such an out of place name. But the first in this trilogy was Shaun of the Dead. The next is Hot Fuzz, and the last is The World's End. And someone had asked me to review this for them. So I want to do Shaun of the Dead, and then I want to do Hot Fuzz and do The World's End. Personally, I didn't like Hot Fuzz. A lot of people did. Maybe reviewing it, I will find an appreciation that I never had for the film in the first place. But Shaun of the Dead takes place in a town in London, and through very comically kind of a setup, Shaun, who's pretty much this loser who roommates with a couple of his friends, with Nick Frost being in there, and he plays also his buddy. They're gamers, and they're basically dropouts and things like that. And Shaun has gone through a breakup because he refuses to grow up and move out of his house and live with his girlfriend. And his best friend is tired of it, and they want him to grow up. So he goes to work, and in the midst of work, all of a sudden the zombie apocalypse breaks out. And in this, he wants to go and save his girlfriend from this impending doom. Now, the girlfriend in this is played by Kate Ashford, and her name is Liz. Nick Frost's part is Ed. So you've got very generic names, I think purposely done. But they go back for Liz, and wacky shenanigans ensue, needless to say. So, the overall movie, it's a zombie apocalypse film that makes fun of zombie apocalypse films. It's very cheeky British comedy. It's hilarious, okay? Downright funny. Now, my disclaimer, this is an R-rated film, so anyone who sees this review that might be of the older persuasion, this film is not designed for kids. This is an adult film. Now, getting down to that, I've got a lot of pros and very few cons. Here's my pros. Shaun of the Dead was the first kind of comedy we got in the zombie genre. Now, if you've seen Night of the Living Dead and you see Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, all of those by the late, great George Romero, he had established scary zombie horror films. A lot of things came from this. Resident Evil and things like that kind of all came from George's creation. What I loved what the British did, and this is made by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, is that it took the zombie genre and flipped it on its head. It made the zombie apocalypse essentially a comedy, and a very funny one at that. Because during the zombie apocalypse, whenever you watch these films, these people seem to like have it all together. Like they know what they're gonna do. They're all running a crew. You have the stereotypical leader, and you have the jerk and the cheerleader and all these other peoples that fall into the typical stereotype. This movie was the working class person stuck in the zombie apocalypse, and I find something humorous in that. It's like me or you. What would we do if all of a sudden we woke up and there were zombies? And one part in the movie, they can't figure out what's going on, and they're basing it off of video games that they've played, and they're trying different things to kill these zombies. And Nick Frost's character Ed picks up like this giant wooden paddle and smacks one in the face, and it doesn't do anything. And they start throwing CDs and discs at it, and it's not doing anything. And then they hit it with a baseball bat in the head, and it dies. So they figure out they got to take out their the brains. And it's just hilarious to see normal guys and normal people with normal issues while the apocalypse is happening. Like cars are blowing up, people are running and screaming, and zombies are walking down the street. And these are just two normal guys, essentially losers, who get caught in the zombie apocalypse. And they have to find their other friends. And they track down Liz and her friend and the girlfriend, and they all get stuck in the pub. And now the whole crux of the movie is that Shaun has had a falling out with Liz about going to the bar all the time and not growing up. The irony is they get stuck at the bar, and so they're fighting about their relationship essentially while the world is ending, and it's just hilarious to watch. The acting is great. They don't try to force anything. The jokes aren't just there just to be crude. They're actually funny. There's a part where their best friend turns into a zombie, and he's trying to attack them, and they're like, "What are you doing, man? Why are you acting so weird?" Blah blah blah. And then they punch him, and they start apologizing to him. And it's just little moments like this that make this movie different from the rest of the zombie films, because it's not meant to be taken seriously. It's meant to be a satire on the zombie films in general. It was designed to joke on itself, and it knows what it is and doesn't try to be anything more than that. Now, the cons, I did not really care for the ending. I understood that with a movie like this, it's hard to make an ending for a comedy. And then the fact that it's a zombie apocalypse movie, it's super hard because this is an oxymoron. It's the opposite of what a zombie film is. So you can't end it doom and gloom because this is going against what zombie films normally do. In a typical zombie film, the world's messed up. the survivors either all die or the last one is left in a hopeless state, and it just continues on. I mean, watch The Walking Dead. It's just a continuation of daily doom, basically. This movie is not that. This movie is making fun of that. So ending it was really tough, and I think that you kind of see that. I mean, it's funny and it's kind of quirky the way it ends, but I just personally didn't like it. The other thing that I like is that certain characters I felt weren't as developed as they could be. Like Shaun has this jerk stepfather who I really like, but they kind of just take him out of the movie quickly. And I would have loved to see the conflict as they're surviving in this bar, and like how he's saying all this thing about how Shaun's a loser, and if he was in charge, they get out of there. I think that would have made a funny dynamic, and they kind of like one-offed him just for the sake of doing it. Other than that, I don't have very many cons for this movie. I mean, this is one of those movies that you can't really hate for what it is. I've never met someone who's seen Shaun of the Dead and said, I hate that film, it's stupid. Pretty much across the board, most people have loved this movie. It's a really funny movie. It pokes fun of a whole genre very cleverly. The jokes are witty, and the cast is great. Simon Pegg is great as that guy who's just like trying to do the right thing, and no matter what decision he makes, because of how he looks and how he presents himself, he's just not taken seriously till the end when stuff goes down. And Nick Frost, who plays Ed, he is just that best friend you have. The one where your parents are like, that guy's going nowhere. You need to stay away from him. But you keep him around because he's funny and he does really stupid stuff, and you love to see when like you get put in those situations and he just says something stupid. He's like that kind of friend. And it's really great to see the chemistry that these two actors have on screen, because they play off of each other and they are best friends in real life. And I think that really adds a layer to what this film is. It's about, at its core, two friends stuck in a bad situation, having to grow up even though they don't want to. Granted, it's zombies that make them grow up, but it's essentially a story about older guys who refuse to grow up and the things that they lose, and the struggles that they have. I think that's really at the core what this film is about. And the zombies are just there in the background. They're the thing that force these two characters to realize that they are 40-year-old men playing video games, doing stupid pranks, drinking at the same bar, not progressing in their life. I mean, I don't know if I read so far into the film, but to me, that seems to be what the core of this movie is about. And I think that a lot of people can relate. I mean, I do movie reviews online. I mean, I watch Marvel movies. I love Star Wars. But I also teach karate. I work another job for a theater company. I do other things. I have a daughter, and I raise her. And the film is about that one guy who doesn't have the balance. Everyone loves him, but he doesn't quite want to grow up. And that's what this movie is about. And the zombie stuff is just added fun in between. And this is a great movie. You guys should watch it. If anyone hasn't seen it, I suggest that you look it up. I found it a long time ago and brought the DVD. But I think that you could easily find this at your local video store or whatever. It shouldn't be too hard to find. And just sit down and watch it. If you're going into it thinking it's a serious zombie film, don't bother watching it. It's not for you. But if you're going in there to maybe learn a life lesson and to enjoy these two people being goofy and learn about what life is really like, then this is the movie for you. But that's all I got for this one, because there's not much I could critique about it. It's just a great movie at its whole. It's got a great message. It did well in the box office, and yeah, I'll do one on The Abyss. Actually, funny story. The Abyss is like one of my favorite films. I've actually wanted to do a critique, but like it's hard to put into words. Such a great movie. Like That's going to be a long review. I almost got to do like a full history lesson on it. So that'll be coming soon. And also, too, tonight I'm going to do one more live stream after this because I am trying to do 3 movies. And actually, it's for you, Mr. Darapesh. Am I saying that right? I hope I am. I hate messing up names. So it's going to be on one of my favorite film trilogies. And most people don't know this, but I'm going to do a review on In the Mouth of Madness. And I'm going to keep this ambiance to go with the horror theme, but really it's just because I can't figure out lighting. Thank you, everyone who is subscribed to my channel. If you know anyone who would like fair, unbiased reviews, tell them to subscribe to Lee Cold Fourth. Click that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for every time that I post these streams, because half of my reviews are live stream. So I want to get your comments as I'm reviewing the movie. Thank you very much. 1 down, 1 more left, and second view is coming. You get the name right. Thank you, Mr. Pesh. I'm going to be saying that now over and over again to make sure I don't mess that up. So I'm good with names once I got them down. But I'm going to be getting ready to do one more review. So join me here in a few short seconds while I get everything set up, and I will see you on the next stream.